Session is one of the most important concepts for building any web application. Now, what are some other things that are important? Routing, post, submitting information by form. And now, hopefully, you have some good exposure on that. So let's talk into sections. What is session? Well, you can read all the text below the video. Hopefully, this will help you a little bit. So this is the browser, and this is where I put in the URL address, right? And if you're using Chrome and others, you can create tabs. So let's say I typed in localhost. I'm visiting your website, and I'm doing some things. And let's say you added something in the let's say you logged in, so there's a login page. So let's say that you logged in, and you're going through the site. Now, if you already logged in, and if you open another tab, what if it shows you another page where it doesn't even have it's like login again? Or imagine that at one tab you're buying at Amazon.com and you added an item to a shopping cart, and then you put another tab and you go to the cart and the cart is empty. That would be a little bit annoying, right? Well, that problem right now, you don't know how to store information so that information for the site that you're visiting is available across all of the pages, because you just learned how to post information to the URL, but you didn't learn how to retain any of the information in a public place where all of your website as well as all of these tabs can access, right? So let's go back to that example. You want to log in, and you want to log in using your email and password. You've added some shopping carts, and whenever you go to these new tabs and you visit your site again, you want the site to remember, and that's the keyword, remember. Whenever you want your app to remember things about some of the previous activities, that's when the sessions come in. Okay, so session is no other than, just like the post example, it's a dictionary or hash or associative array. And this information sometimes can be stored in a cookie, which is stored on the client side. It can be also stored on the server. And that's sometimes it's done that way, but whatever. It is depending on the framework. So Flask, I believe, it stores some session in the client side. The browser stores it, so you can actually see it, and we have some video where you can see that. I think Django, by default, does it on the server side. But anyway, just know that any of the tabs that you open and you're going to visit your site again, you want to remember certain information. Anything that you need to remember across all these tabs in your app is stored in session. And it's a key value pair, right? So you can say, okay, in this, and any of these pages, you can put whatever you want, right? But know that this is public. Everyone can see it, right? So here you can say, for example, you can store whatever you want. You can store your email, right? So the key is email, and you can put in, for example, mchoi@cd.com. You can put age if you want. I won't tell you my name. I wish I was 30. Okay, and then maybe you can say count, how many times I visited, right? Maybe I visited the site 5. Maybe initially when there's no count, you say, oh, that means this is your first time. Let me add a new key called count, and let me put 1. And then each time, maybe you check, and then each time I open a new tab, you look at the session count, and then you just add it by 1, right? So you make it 2, and then, so forth. So the things that you can kind of imagine is you may store the email, maybe the ID of the user that logged in. So the user logged in, and let's say the user ID is 3541. And your app can check, hey, when I open a new tab, check the session, check the ID, and maybe there's another key called logged in. And if the IDA is there, if it is not empty, go in and log that person in so that you don't ask them to log in again. Maybe shopping cart is the same thing, right? Let's say here you say, I bought, right? Buy. So you bought some item here, and I open a new tab. Well, you want this new tab to remember the activities in the previous tab. Or, in fact, it doesn't even have to be a new tab, because one page, when it goes from one page to the next page, we learn how you can pass information through the post, right? So you learn from one page to the other. You can pass information through post. But other than this, and this page will have access to this, but when you go and go to the browser and type in another URL, and you go to another, even if it is, let's say you go back to this page, it won't have access to this post again. This is only available to the page, to the route that got this information, correct? So anytime that any of your pages have to remember some of the previous activities or any of the tabs, that's where you put that in the session. And again, it's a key value. You can store whatever you want. You can remove keys. You can create new one. You can update it. And then this becomes really, really important. Okay? All right. So that's what session is used for. And then maybe in the next video, I'll show you some of the technically how you can access this in the routing file and how you can also access that in the template. It's also in the bottom of the video, specifically how to do this.